It's hard to be happy at work if you're not happy with your rewards. It's human nature to want a little more of something, so perhaps your rewards are never quite perfect. But here are some ideas designed to get you to a position where you are content enough. Rewards come in two categories: the extrinsic, salary, bonus, pension, and the intrinsic, self-esteem, pride in your work, recognition. And what you're looking to do is to create a combination of both that works for you. Let's start with the extrinsic. As you come to the end of a recruiting process, you'll receive an offer and you will discuss and negotiate the package. And there are a few things you can do to make this go well. First, be aware of all the variables that will apply to you. A base salary, annual bonus, sometimes there's a chance of a signing bonus, equity or options, car, pension, anything else. Sometimes you can gather this information from a recruiter or HR department as you go through the recruiting process and before you're actually negotiating. Second, know your value. That may sound tricky, but there are several sources of information that can help you to close on this. What is your history and current package? Do you have other offers in hand? What can you learn from online resources? What do you know from friends? What can you learn from the recruiter? And what is your aspiration? What feels right at this stage? Third, and maybe most important in this sequence, get comfortable with talking about your value and your rewards. For some people, this is no trouble and comes naturally. For others, it needs a bit of rehearsal, so know which you are. If you practice a few key lines out loud on your own, they'll become familiar and you'll get your choice of words right and you'll feel more comfortable delivering them when you need to. When you get into the offer phase and you're having these discussions with a company, a nice sequence is that you get the offer, you ask for an adjustment, they respond, and you close. I say this because I've had varied experiences as the hiring manager. For example, where someone I'm recruiting feels the need to come back 3 or 4 times over small items. I've also had situations where after a new employee has started working for me, they want to take me aside and renegotiate a few weeks later. Both behaviours can lead to damaging your relationship with your new boss. My steer is keep it clean. Get into territory that you consider acceptable and aim to come to a close fairly quickly. Now, before you come to discussing the extrinsic rewards, make sure you're fully cognizant of the intrinsic rewards and the psychological contract, as they will have just as much impact on your happiness, and if they're not right, you don't want to be advancing into a salary negotiation. Let me be clear what I mean. Intrinsic rewards can include your self-esteem, your level of autonomy, the opportunity for growth, whether you're happy with the working environment and whether you feel part of a team with your colleagues. The psychological contract is related to this. It refers to informal obligations between an employer and an employee. This can, for example, cover working hours. In most high-performing environments, there's an informal expectation that you will do the required hours to get the job done, irrespective of what is written in your formal contract. When you've gathered the information from all these factors, you know the offer in terms of the extrinsic rewards, you've made your best assessment of the intrinsic rewards, then it's time to decide if you're content or not and if you're going to accept the role. And assuming you do, then you need to shut the box on your rewards and get on with your job, at least until the time of your next review. I say this because I've seen people fall into a trap of discontent where they discover what a former peer is earning elsewhere, or they hear something about a colleague and they let it eat away at their happiness. I'm not suggesting that you should settle for less than you're worth, rather that you do your negotiations at the right time and then you compartmentalise these discussions. If you get this right, there are several benefits. You will free up mental space for achieving your work objectives and for personal development. You'll be a better colleague at work and indeed a better partner at home, and you'll be genuinely happier day to day, recognising all the things to be grateful for.